This lesson is find the best approximation to z by vector of the form c1 v1 plus c2 v2. Again, it is the same procedure, just different variable. Okay, one more time. Same procedure, just different variable. That's all it is. So first thing we need to find, is it orthogonal? So v1 times v2, as you can see, 2 times 1, negative 1 times 1, negative 3 times 0, 1 times negative 1. It is 0, so it is orthogonal. Next, we do the first part of the decomposition theorem. So z times v1, v1 times v1, z2, z times v2, v2 times v2. So here is z, here is v1, here's v2. So zv, zv1, so 3 times 2, negative 7 times negative 1, 2 times negative 3, 3 times 1 gives me 10. Next, zv2, 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 3 times 1, negative 7 times 1, 2 times 0, which is here, 3 times negative 1, which is here, and that gives me negative 7. Next, v1 and v1, so 2 times 2, negative 1 times negative 1, negative 3 times negative 3, 1 times 1 gives me 15. Next, 1 times 1, 1 times 1, 0 times 0, negative 1 times negative 1 gives me 3. Okay, so now we have everything. Just plug everything in based on the variable. So zv1 is 10, v1, which is 15, zv2, which is negative 7, v2, which is 3. Okay, if you can reduce, reduce. If not, leave it alone. So in this situation, I can reduce, so that gives me, so reduce this if you want, and then just multiply across. That gives me this. Multiply across gives me this, and then just add them across, and that gives me negative 1, negative 3, negative 2, negative 3. Again, multiply, this gives me this. Multiply gives me this. And make sure you know how to add and subtract fractions. So 20 over 15 plus negative 7 over 3 gives me negative 1. 10, 15, 7, 3, since they're both negative. Okay, so it stays negative. This over here will comes out to be 2, negative 2. This add to 7 third will gives me this 3. So z hat, this is z hat, is the closest to point regular z. Again, this example is the same as last video. It's just in different variable. That's all it is. Okay, so by the best approximation theorem, this is z hat is the closest point to z, regular z in W. And this is how we write. So z hat projection W to regular z is the closest point to z in W.